Hello, Dean here from the eBay experiment. Long time no see. Things have changed behind the scenes. I'm going to share with you today what's changed quite significantly with the eBay experiment. But before we get on to that, let's go through some details and a little bit of history. So if you haven't heard of me before or not watched this channel, the eBay experiment, basically October 2025, I decided to do a story, if you like, about starting selling on eBay from scratch. I wouldn't say without previous experience, because I've had eBay since its infancy, probably 2001. I think I've been a member of eBay. Not sure if it was Yahoo auctions, can't remember. I believe it went Yahoo and then into eBay, I believe. But I was only buying and selling my own stuff. It certainly wasn't a business model or a plan or with the intention to make loads of money. It's like an auctioneer, and it was used to be very, very cheap at the time. It was quite useful. Things moved on somewhat. And I started selling on eBay with the intention to try. I've done a bit loose, I'll be honest with you. I didn't really put too much effort into it or any emphasis. And over the course of all those years since 2001, progressed into sort of trying to buy things. It never really worked out, if I'm honest with you. I ended up buying things that I wanted and then selling things I no longer needed. I kind of didn't really have the business acumen to try and make it work. And then 2019 to 2020, it was in the UK and probably worldwide, wasn't it, the pandemic. We kind of didn't really do much, so we couldn't work apart from perhaps gaming or anything online while we were sat at home. And what I did, because I had some money anyway, not a lot, I had a bit of money, about £300, and I decided to invest that with the intention of starting buying and selling to make profit. Now, in those days, it didn't really materialize. It was earning, it was kind of paying for itself, but I wouldn't say a business. And it had been like that for quite a long time. I hadn't really got any suppliers back then other than what anyone else could get. I mean, I was using AliExpress, Alibaba, and a few wholesale companies, but there was no preferential like rates or anything. So there's nothing stopping anyone going in and buying exactly the same stuff. So, but it was paying for itself, and a little nest egg was building up. Nothing much, but at least if I wanted to buy more stock, I could. If I wanted to treat myself to some small items, then I could. Then one thing then to another, and then what we're looking at now is 2025, 1st of October. I started this channel and announced it all through my social media platforms, and went at it as if I'm going to start a business. This is where things have changed somewhat. I'll be honest with you, it was much harder than I thought. I'm employed anyway. I'm a self-employed driving instructor. That is my main job. Being self-employed has its benefits of you can have free time. So during my quieter days, or I booked some days off during the week, what I did, I tried to sort of put some effort into making the eBay experiment work. Now that was in October, and I was doing weekly, bi-weekly videos and trying to find a niche that worked. I don't feel any of it worked because I didn't really know what I was doing. There are eBay channels out there, and very done well indeed, or done very well indeed. English can be quite hard, can't it, sometimes? And I watched a lot of these channels. I say watched, past tense. Don't watch them as much now, and I'll come back to that in a minute. but I've got some ideas and bits and pieces off of various YouTubers that were selling on eBay. And my own eBay channel, the eBay experiment, kind of fizzled away. But I can assure you, behind the scenes, I was working very hard indeed. So that brings us up to the present day. So what I've been working on behind the scenes are suppliers. Now, a typical eBay store, if you like, or YouTube channel about an eBay store, typically you would go to a car boot sale, buy a lot of stuff, whatever your niche is, clothes, gadgets, electronics, books, films, whatever it might be, and you flip them for more money, basically sell them for more. In the summer, nevertheless, there's plenty of car boots around. It depends where you are in the country, and I have done some car booting to buy stuff to sell. It does work. I've done it. I haven't put that much effort into it, so I can't sit here and say it was amazing, but you need to put the effort in for it to work. But what I was doing behind the scenes was accumulating some suppliers. Now, I've now got 4 suppliers who supply me product at wholesale prices. So where this differs to a car boot is that you can't just rock up, log on and buy the stuff that I can buy at the prices that I can get, because I've now affiliated with them as a working business, and that took a lot of work. I'll give you some idea of how I did it. So the first thing I did is I had a supplier who actually turned me down multiple times to become a wholesale buyer. They said that they didn't need any more wholesale accounts, they've got enough. So I thought to myself, I'm going to have to sort of bite the bullet and just buy more off them and just hope that my history speaks for itself. This has probably taken me a good 4 years. 4 years of buying stock at, I wouldn't say a price that no one else can get, but just the way my business model worked enabled me to sell them at a profit. Not massive, but a bit more nevertheless. And periodically throughout those 4 years, I would email this company asking to be put onto their wholesale program. Time and time again, I was refused. Not because I was a bad customer, they just didn't need it. And then one day, I did my random email to them, and they got back to me and offered me the lower tier for wholesale purchases. I was ecstatic. I thought, yes. As it happens, they've now given me 5 tiers, depending on how much I spend and how much discount I get. So I've been doing that now for probably about 18 months. And I am at, it's not easy, but I'm at the maximum tier of spend to get the maximum wholesale discount. And it's taken quite a lot of effort to get that. The actual eBay experiment isn't paying for that solely for its profits, a little bit, but I've had to use my own money, money that I'm earning from my full-time job and life in general, to pump into it, if I'm honest. But I've now got, well, that's the first supplier who give me wholesale. I've got another 2 which I had to apply for wholesale, and the way you do that is you've got to prove that you're a viable business. You're not just some Harry off the road trying to say you're going to buy it wholesale and keep it for yourself. So it doesn't just end at, this is my email address, this is my address, blah blah blah. You have to prove that you're a business. So you have to go down the record of HMRC records and tax commitments and things like that. So once I've done that on one of those suppliers, that's fine. Now that supplier does supply stuff at wholesale prices. I've got another supplier who sells similar items at wholesale prices, slightly cheaper, but to get that one I had to prove that I've got a business address. Now of course I work from home, I don't have a business address. My home address is not registered as a business because, you know, my real job of a driving instructor, I'm out in the car. So I had to then make another big jump, which was, I didn't really want to do it, but I had to get a unit, like a storage unit, which would then, a company which would accept deliveries on my behalf. Fortunately, there is one very local to me, about 4 miles from me actually. But I had to commit to a monthly outgoing, which is slightly subsidised by my full-time job. So again, we're not really in the realms of leaving my job and going full eBay. It doesn't work like that. But I've now got the business premises, if you like. It's just a lock-up storage, and I can get deliveries there. And this second of those other 2 companies, so that's 3 now, I'm on their books, slightly better rates, and they can get my order delivered to my work address, if you like. And that's working really well. Now those 2 suppliers, I would say they're fairly slow moving stock. And it was a little bit worrying because there's a certain threshold on both of them that you have to purchase to get the discounts. You're not committed to do that monthly, your order has to be a certain amount, which leads me on to my 4th and probably really exciting announcement. So I don't know if you know, my store, RC Gadgets and Toys, and there will be a link in the description, mainly deals with, amongst a lot of things, radio controlled spares, Tamiya. I do have a few lines on there from AliExpress from way back, but they're pretty much at the end now. I'm pretty sold all that. I'm also, if you watch I don't normally plug my other YouTube channel, Racing 393 RC, but that channel is basically about radio controlled builds, nitro electric, new and vintage, and hopping cars up. Those hop ups, either they come from Racing or Tamiya, or there's a few other companies I forget right off the top of my head at the moment. I can't remember now, but they're quite common. Lots of online RC stores sell this product that spans all radio control cars. So I've come up now with, I had to apply for wholesale, which means there's a little bit more digging for there. They had to prove, you know, my work address, business acumen, budget, history on trading. It was a little bit more involved, and I'd already applied for this a while back and they refused. And I tried it again, and this time they've accepted. So I've now got a wholesale supplier for radio controlled car hop-ups, which is absolutely amazing, and I've got 2 orders at the moment outstanding with them that I've placed. The only downside is the commitment, which I'm working on. So there's a certain amount I have to purchase each month, which is quite daunting. At the moment, it kind of, the eBay side of it is paying for itself in that respect. So the store, like the business address store, is paid through my real job monthly, but the eBay stuff is actually, it's making profit enough so that I can spend this amount each month. It's quite I would say it's quite a substantial commitment as far as I'm concerned, considering my eBay store isn't like thriving, it's selling. I mean, I've got some stuff there to sell. I've got about 6 or 7 parts there that I'm sending out today, but that's nowhere near enough to make it viably work full time. I can probably take a day off in the week now quite regularly from my full-time job to spend on eBay. So I am working on that. So where do we go from here then? So I've got some notes here. Now I'm not going to diverge into these companies. I mean, it's not like a secret, just they're very, very new. And what I'm hoping is that, because I don't know if it will fully work. I mean, I'm committing it to it now. I've sort of committed financially now as well. But what I hope to do is over the next course of the next 12 months is be able to build this up into a viable part-time role. Now, we are now in August, so we've got another 2 months before we get to October, and from when I started last October. Now, as far as videos on YouTube, you only get some updates every so often. My main update of what I'm doing is going to be done via TikTok. So there'll be a link in the description of where my TikTok social media channel, so you can log on to that, have a look, because there you'll get information about what stock is coming in, how things are doing, but more detail about the stock that I've got and pre-warning you of when it's going onto my store. I'm not going to do, like I've said, weekly or bi-weekly or even monthly at the moment. I'm not going to commit to doing that on YouTube on this channel, because I don't want to be like everybody else. This is what I got, this is what I'm selling it for, this is the profit. I don't want to do that. What I want to do is show you what I'm selling and eventually give you an insight of how I'm doing it, because at the minute I'm not even sure it's going to work fully. I think it'll be okay, and I'm really excited about having these 4 suppliers and that one in particular, but it is a financial risk. It is of course I'm always worried about my money and where it goes. I don't want to just spend it willy-nilly, but there's got to be some form of commitment. You're not going to be able to sit here at home and the work is going to come to you. You've got to go out and get it. So that's where we're at. That's why you haven't seen much on the channel on the eBay experiment at all, really. I'm hoping that this will encourage people to perhaps keep an eye out for TikTok of when things come in, and of course some of you out there may even be from my other YouTube channel, which means you've got a similar interest of the items that I'm selling. So I think that about covers it all for the minute. Let me just I'm just going to check my notes. So I'll just end here. I'll just ask you what you want to see on the channel. You know, I've got things here like, I mean, I've got what I bought and what I sold it for. Well, I think I can go through on TikTok of what I bought. As far as how much the business made this month, yeah, I might do that after October. We'll start looking at the summary via eBay. I can perhaps go over some of that. Not monthly, but I can perhaps do that and do like a short video covering a few months so we can see if it's making any money at all. Definitely cover some of the mistakes I've made, and I've made a few mistakes on the way. It's never as easy as going to a car boot and buying stuff, because the difference is I'm buying new stuff. All my stuff on my store is new, other than the bits I'm selling that are my own bits, but that you can see that's listed in a different way on my channel. And obviously the end result is replacing my income as a driving instructor by selling on eBay full time. That is the goal. So I haven't got anything else to share at the moment, other than I've got this week at the time of recording, I've got some parts coming in. I've got 2 orders coming in and another 2 outstanding which haven't gone through yet. So you need to keep an eye out on TikTok, because that's where I'll show quickly the items that I've got, and you'll get like a heads up of when they're going to go on store before they actually do. So I think that's it. I think we'll call it there. This is a quick update on my exploits as an eBay reseller, and I hope you sort of enjoy this update. Maybe you're subscribed to this channel. I don't normally ask for subscribers. It hasn't got many anyway. It's sat there pretty dormant, so I'm quite pleased that this is going out. So I'll end that there. I'll thank you for your time, and I will see you on TikTok, and I'll see you soon back on the YouTube channel, the eBay Experiment. So that's it. My name's Dean. This is the eBay Experiment, and I will see you very soon. Cheerio, and bye for now.